Hi, and welcome to Moonbeam Connections. I'm Jacqui-Leigh. Today on Tarot Whispers, we're looking at the Four of Wands. And so the Four of Wands is often called the marriage card. So if you get, the Four of Wands coming up in a relationship reading, especially in the future position, it does look like you will be getting married or at least a greater commitment. And so we have this man and woman, and they've got flowers in their hands, and they're holding it up, celebrating with our four posts, kind of look like, what do you call it? I want to say altar, but I don't think it's called an altar, but where you have the arches. Maybe it's just called arches. You quite often see that in weddings at the front of the wedding, or where they walk through the arches to go down the aisle, or at the front of the aisle. And then they've got their, a castle back here, which is quite a solid foundation in terms of a home if you have a castle. And so this card is the marriage card, but it's also a card of celebration and harmony and home. And because it's a four, it's like your foundation. So your four walls, four walls of your home, four corners, four pillars, that whole idea. So it's about creating a stable, harmonious home life. Right? And we often think of that in terms of marriage, right? And so it does become the marriage card, celebration card. So I will get my board out and we will see what Spirit has to say about the Four of Wands. As always, I do write in silence and then I dub over it. So sometimes it may sound a little off, but I try my best. So we'll put our Four of Wands right here in the corner. And I will be quiet for a moment, get into meditation mode, and we'll see what Spirit wants to tell us about the Four of Wands. Please and thank you. Thanks. The Four of Wands represents your stability in particular to your home life, your family life. It is the card of creating a structured, stable family. Stability in relationships, stability in finances, stability in location. This is the card of creating a foundation in which to build a peaceful, loving environment for all involved. This is the dream of most. A loving home environment that everyone wants to come home to. An environment where everyone is supported not only in the good times, but also in the bad times. If you pull this card, it's time to get your ducks in a row and create the stable environment you want. Or even if you do not want, it's the environment you need. See the Four of Wands as a guideline, as a marker or goal. It is the structure on which to make all choices. Will this choice bring peace into my home? Will this choice bring peace to those around me? Will this choice improve my home environment? Or will this choice create instability within my home? Always strive for creating a home filled with love and joy, where peace always exists, and you will never go wrong. Love. So, Spirit is saying, like the Four of Wands, it represents the stability in your life, in particular your home life, your family life, right? It's about creating that structure, that stable family, those stable relationships, right? But even stability in finances, stability in your location, right? It's hard to create this sort of happy, harmonious home life if you're constantly having to move, or if your finances are always a mess and you can't afford things and you can't afford to put food on the table or can't afford even, the four walls you have. That's not going to create harmony, right? So it's all about creating this stable structure that in which you can use as your foundation for building that peaceful, loving environment. And right at the end, like Spirit says, right? We should always strive for keeping a home with love and joy, where peace always exists, right? And obviously, there's always going to be little strifes. But we're talking in general. When somebody walks into this home environment, they are going to feel peace. They are going to know they're going to have support if they're sad. They're going to know if they're going to have support if they're excited or happy about something, right? It's all about creating a home environment where people want to come home. They know it'll be okay home, even though once in a while there's, a tiff over this or a spat over that, or, somebody's upset about this or that, right? People are always going to get upset, and it's not always because of what's going on within the four walls. Sometimes something happens outside of the environment, and this is where you come home. I'm sad, I'm upset, but I know this is my peaceful, safe place where I'm going to get the support of others around me to help me get through that. So it's not always going to be a happy, fun, joyful environment, because things do happen and we need to deal with them. But it's always going to be a loving, supportive environment where you can go to get the support you need, to feel the love you need to feel the sympathy you need to feel the, what do you call it? Like when people are happy for you, right? The happy supportiveness that you feel. I did find an interesting ducks in a row. I almost didn't write that down. And then I'm like, that's what Spirit's saying. So you better say it. So I don't know if that's not necessarily something I usually say. I don't know if that really resonates with one of you out there or more than one of you out there. But definitely it says it is the card. If you pull this card, it is time to get those ducks in a row, right? To create that stable environment. And even if you pull this card and you're like, are we headed towards commitment, right? This is the marriage card. And it's like, look, yeah, we are headed towards commitment. Okay, but we still need to get those ducks in a row. Where are we going to live? How much are we going to spend on a house? How are we going to budget things? How much are we going to put in retirement? How are we going to deal with things when somebody's upset? How are we going to deal with things when someone's sad or someone's happy? And so it's make sure you get all these things, right? So even if we're headed, this card is popping out because we're headed towards marriage, we need to have all those. How are we going to raise kids? How are we going to spend money? How much are we going to save? How much are we going to spend on ourselves? How much are we going to, willing to spend towards, just running a household, paying the gas, paying the electricity, paying for food? And so you want to have all this set up in order to create that strong foundation, right? We don't want to get married and we all move in the same home together. And now it turns out, oh, this person over here, they are very meticulous and they only spend this much on this and this much on this, and all their money is completely structured. And because they have it all set up, they won't even spend one penny outside, not one penny over. And then you come into the environment and you're like, oh, I'm a free spirit. I'll pay my bills, whatever money I have left. I just do whatever. If I'm a little late on this bill this week or this month, that's okay. I'll just catch up next month. No, that's not going to be very harmonious, right? And so you may have to create some sort of structure around that. Maybe the person who's very meticulous, maybe they're the ones who sort of take responsibility for paying the bills, and then and then each person, I'm not saying we just give the spender an allowance, right? Each person has their own fun money, their own, I just want to buy whatever I want to buy, or I just want to do whatever, right? So we have one person that's going to take care of the bills, making sure that's all done. And then they'll allot the allowances to each individual person. And then I, as a free spirit, don't want to pay attention to the finances. I know, okay, I've got this money here. Once it's gone for the month, and I can deal with things my way. And if they want to be very meticulous, they can deal with things their way. So I hope this message helped you today, and I hope it helps you understand the Four of Wands a little bit more. I'm sending you peace, love, and happiness. Bye for now.